Hey everybody, Katherine Reay here, and thank you for joining us at the 10-Minute Book Talk. I'm here today with my co-hosts, Marie Bostwick, Rachel Linden, and we have a super special guest today, one of our very dear friends and the author of the amazing The French Kitchen, Kristy Cambron. So welcome, Kristy. I'm so excited to have you here today. Kristy and I had like a 3-hour Zoom talk last week, so we're going to try to keep this to 10 minutes. But
10
tell us
minutes.
about 10 minutes. But tell us about your fabulous new book, which just released.
Yeah, it just
Ooh,
released. The French Kitchen for me, it is a few things I love. French culinary, classic recipes, Julia Child, and a
yes,
little bit about
please.
Julia Child before she was Julia Child. So we'll get into that in just a few moments. Paris, all of the things that we love, strong female characters. It's about this main character named Kat, and she has experiences working as a spy during World War II that she's still untangling after the war. And she goes into a cooking class in Paris in early 1952, which is taught by the Julia Child. And it's all about
Woo.
her experiences in this cooking class with Julia Child and untangling all of the things that occurred more than 10 years before.
Oh, okay.
Very,
It's like you said, what would Rachel like to read? And then you wrote that book because literally it's all the things I love. I love this. Okay, so something that I think is really fun, and you just touched on it, is I would love you to talk about the research that you did for this book
Mm.
because I'm assuming it was yummy. I'm assuming it involved Paris. And also, you are touching on this American cooking icon who actually had quite a life, Julia Child, before
Yeah.
she was a cooking icon. So tell us a little bit about what you found and how you got there.
Yeah, the quick part of the answer is really fun. So, as authors, we love to do our research. And for me, that was like shoveling in macarons one after another
Mhm.
for
Somebody's
research.
got to do it.
Research. Somebody's got to
I
do
know,
it.
like
Somebody
we
has
have to
to.
do we
the
have to do the hard things.
sacrifices.
But outside of that, I want to make a recommendation to all of your viewers. One of my favorite podcasts is The History Chicks. And so it's half of human history, all about women in history. And they had an episode about Julia Child. And I remember seeing Julia Child's cookbooks like on my mom's shelf in the kitchen and seeing her immortalized by Dan Aykroyd on Saturday Night Live. Like everyone remembers that. So I knew a little bit about her. But on this podcast episode, they talked about how she had a quote spy backstory. And she didn't have any direct field work, but she worked on some amazing projects, one of which was to help develop propellant. So she worked for the American Offices of Strategic Services, the OSS, the precursor to the CIA. And when I heard that, I just was like, I have to know more. I have to understand more. And I was actually getting over COVID. And so I was at a hotel and taking my younger sons like to the pool. And I kind of collapsed in a deck chair. You know, I was a few weeks out, still weak. And I had purchased this book about Julia Child. I opened the front cover and there was this photograph, and she's 6'2". She was wearing wedge heels. So, how tall she was. She was bent over this stove, like it almost looked like a child stove, stirring on the stove. And that photograph sparked the entire book. I put the book down and I picked up my phone. I started writing a summary and I sent it to my agent about 5 minutes later. And she said, "Where did you get this?" I said, that was the tone in the text. And I said, "I just wrote it." And she said, "This is your next book. Write it. This is your next book." So that's where the idea came from. That was a little bit on the research, and it just skyrocketed from there.
Wow.
Okay,
Love
so
it.
right before the book released, I read in People magazine a fabulous article you wrote. Really well done. Everybody look that up. But you wrote about 10 lessons that you learned from
Mhm.
Julia Child. And
Yeah,
the way she spoke was brilliant. So you're going to have to like give one in her words. But
yeah.
what were the top three? Because everyone can find out the other seven. But what were
Mm.
your top three takeaways from
Yeah.
Julia Child?
Yeah, so I'm also going to make another recommendation because we love to do this. We love books. This book right here, it is "People Who Love to Eat Are Always the Best People" by Julia Child. That's one of her quotes. So this is from the
It's
Julia
fair.
Child Foundation. And one of the things I love about Julia Child is she was super witty and clever, and she would give the same quotes, but she would change them just a little bit, I think on purpose. So all the quotes that are out there, we're not really sure if they're hers or not, but the Julia Child Foundation found all of the quotes and researched them. These are hers. And so going back to her actual words, I found inspiration from quotes, and it drove much of the story in the French kitchen. So there's actually a chapter, and one of my favorite quotes by Julia Child is, "I think every woman should have a blowtorch." There is a scene where main character Kat, who's an auto mechanic by day, she hears someone breaking into the auto garage at night, and she grabs the first thing that's on the floor next to her. It's a blowtorch, and she's ready to defend herself. So I love the lessons of being fierce, being brave when we think we can't. Another one of the lessons in that People magazine article is big, I think, for everyone here. It's the stories that we live, and it's living in community. So I had to push myself post COVID. I attended a book club when I knew no one. I started signing up for 5K races when I wasn't a fast runner. I mean, just different things to try to find community around the stories that we live and the things that bring us together. And what brings us together better than food? I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
what brings
Yeah.
us together?
So true.
I
I
love
love
that.
this. I love yeah, I'm with Rachel. It's like, sign me up. You're going to sell a gajillion copies of this because everybody's going to want to read it. So,
And don't read it when you're hungry because it's full of food.
do read it when you're
Have
hungry.
snacks.
You know,
Exactly.
Get macarons.
Macarons
Read it
right
with
next to you.
macarons
Yeah,
right
no,
there.
I think this makes perfect sense. I love, you personally took a lot away from your research and writing this book. So I love that. But what is it you want readers to take away from your book?
Yeah. I really want what I just mentioned, readers to take away the stories that we are building and writing in our own lives. And so I was really intentional when I wrote the book. I did not want it to be a biography of Julia Child's life. So it's a fictionalized account of her being just that, someone who steps into these characters' life, into their story. She is a friend. She's a mentor. She's a coach. She does a lot to help Kat, as I said, untangle what happened in the past so she can move forward. And I wanted to humanize, right? The icon, the French kitchen icon. I wanted to humanize her in a way. And so I want readers to walk away from that, thinking about the people who step in and out of our lives and the seasons of our lives and what that means to us. And I would give events, and very often I'll say, while you're waiting to get your book signed, pick up your phone and text the Julia in your life, call the Julia in your life, hug the Julia in your life who you came to this event with. Think of the
Love that.
Julias in your life and make that connection back to them, because it really does matter. And if anyone thought I was a Julia in their life, I would be flattered and humbled, and I would love to get that text or that call. So that's what I really want people to walk away from. It's the stories that we're collectively living that bring us together, and in a way that food does.
That's fabulous. What a great
Yes, please.
celebration that could be.
Yeah.
I hope that takes off. Everybody text your Julia right now.
Text your
Do it.
Text your Julia.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay, so on that note, Kristy, we ask every author this. What brings you joy today?
What's bringing me joy today? So as of our recording, we are recording in August, and for months now, I'm not embarrassed to say I have been enjoying Christmas rom-coms. I'm just here for it. The world seems so heavy right now, and I've just been going through them like water. So I think by the time the season gets here, the actual season, I'm gonna have to read all the new ones, because I think I've read like all the backlist of everyone's amazing
That's
Christmas
so
rom-coms.
fun.
That's bringing me joy right now. The happily ever after, I'm here for it.
I love it.
it.
That is great.
Mhm.
We're joyful 10-minute book talkers that you are here today. So go out, grab the French Kitchen. It is fantastic.
Mhm.
It is such a rich story. I do think you should have a pastry by you, but that's up to you.
You should.
Mhm.
You should. But thank you for being here. Kristy Cambron,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for being here today. Bye-bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye, guys.